This episode of Lore Drop is sponsored by Libby Denny. Hey, I love you.
John, as a player, how did you feel at the end of Cataclysm?
I felt like I felt something.
Mm-hmm.
I felt
it was rough.
it was a loss. It was a massive
here's
loss.
Here's the bigger question. Why did you keep playing D&D with Ben afterwards?
Because the pain felt so bad in such an amazing way.
I'm Abby, the executive director of Reinvent Productions.
I'm Ben, the creative and artistic director.
And our third party member today is John. John, you also turned into a phone. How did you get in there?
I've been trapped here for a while now. You just haven't realized that.
Oh.
I've been trying to call you guys, but I think you guys just like muted me or blocked my number or something. I don't know.
When was the last time we saw John? It wasn't at our wedding, was it?
No.
Right before.
No.
Was it right before Derek moved?
No.
Right before we moved?
Before I moved.
I'd say John moved before we moved.
Oh, crazy. Life is crazy. Well, the bit.
I moved into your phone.
That's crazy.
You've been there this whole time.
We thought he was in Virginia this whole time. No, John's another one of our friends from undergrad, and we're doing a remote record with him.
I'm not as cool as them because they actually graduated. I did not.
But you're about to have a child, so it's fine.
Yeah, makes up for it.
That's how that works. But John was one of the first tabletop players in Reinvent.
Yeah, John was the player of Severica at the table.
Indeed.
He also played a bunch of other characters too, like Braja.
Yep, Severica, Gryver, Braja, Roughscale, Fraxis, Syken.
The one that we bullied out of the party.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
A very useful character that was bullied out of the party.
Yeah, very much so. The amount of times he saved the party's life.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's fine. He came back later and it was all good. But today we're going to be talking to John about
two characters he is
John.
very familiar with. Yeah.
We're going to be talking about John Winslow and Mike Walsh today. Hey, but before we dive in too deep into John and Mike, we had to decide the most important part of the episode, which is what animated trio we are. And I have decided that it's Vox Machina.
Yes, and I've got the characters for us this time.
Okay.
So I think specifically we're going to start with me and Abby, which is Keyleth and Vaxeldan.
Yes.
Now the thing is, I am Keyleth and Abby is Vax of the two of us.
Correct. I was about to say.
Yes. But aside from that, we got John, who really, it depends on the day. John, it's a coin flip. John could either be Grog or Scanlan.
Sometimes he's both.
Yeah, but today I would like to rage.
Yes. Gosh, that line goes hard every time he says it.
The first time I saw Vox Machina, the first thought that came into my head when I saw Grog was, that's John. That is John.
Even more so whenever it's like, I have a beard. I'm sad. It's sad that I've only ever seen clips and never actually watched it. Just outing myself right now on recording.
It is crazy to me that you haven't seen that show. You would really like it.
Yeah, I know I would.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you get the luxury of binging it now. We were watching it week to week.
Yeah.
For those first couple seasons.
For season 3, we watched it week to week.
Oh, that was awful. All right, so we've decided our trio. It's all good to go.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah.
Tell us about John and Mike.
Cool. So, John Winslow and Mike Walsh are a pair of smugglers in Universe 17, and we're going to break them down one at a time because we are talking about them both at the same time because they are kind of intertwined throughout their story. To focus first on John, John is a human male and a prominent member of the crew of the Envious Dream. The smuggler ship that he is a crew member on. John has been trained in sword fighting, but otherwise has no special abilities, just really good at the sword. His notable allies include Mike Walsh, Karen Forrester, Zelvia Xanathus, Kava Neurixius, and Roger the Fourth.
What about the third?
No, just the fourth.
Oh, okay.
And notable Notable adversaries include Severica Gryver, Andrew Blood, Harbor, Deep Sea, and Backlash. Moving on to his buddy, Mike Walsh is a shifter male with who is a prominent member of the crew of the Envious Dream. Mike has been trained in multiple weapons and has enhanced reflexes and dexterity thanks to his shifter genetics. Mike later gains the Garnet Power Ring, which gives him the ability to copy the physical properties of substance he touches, sort of like Kevin for any Ben 10 fans out there. Specifically Kevin in Ben 10 Ultimate Alien.
What a pull.
Yeah.
The best one.
Kevin the Goat. And then notable allies for Mike are John Winslow, Karen Forster, Walter Sang, Braja Roughscale, and Arim. And notable adversaries are Severica Gryver, Mason Stone, The Bastions, Captain Pestilence, and Cord.
Cord? That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah, and notably, both of these two were born in 1987, and we'll get to extra stuff from there. But both John and Mike, their first real-world appearance was in the Cataclysm campaign in Session 1 back in 2016. John and Mike assisted the party in defeating Courtspot Lambda as it was rampaging on the cargo deck of the Envious Dream.
And they were the f***ing goats.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bleep John so much.
I'm so sorry.
It's really funny.
We need.
No,
hold
they
on.
weren't. Genuinely, it was the fight was like a trouncing until John and Mike hopped in, and then it was just like, all right, cool, let's clean this up real quick.
Everything was all good. Everything was all good.
Can we put a duck noise over John anytime he cusses?
That's really funny.
No,
Sure.
it's got to be a goose. It's got to be
A goose.
noise.
Oh yeah.
Like in memory of Abby trying to kick a goose.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And John trying to chase me down. That was really funny.
Yep. Trying to save your life.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now we have to go on the story now. Listen, the geese at Missouri Western had to be put in their place.
Those geese run that campus.
And I was asserting my dominance over them.
You would have died.
No, I wouldn't have.
You would have. They outnumbered you.
I never had a chance. I ran out of the car and John chased me down and literally like scooped me up and like dragged me away from the geese because
really
I
funny.
wanted to kick them.
Note. You got out of a moving car.
Yes.
It wasn't moving that fast.
The fact that it was still moving is the whole point.
Man,
And
our
these-
Texas friends are going to hear this story and they're going to be like, what? We already thought Abby was nutty.
Yeah, they haven't seen you around geese.
Because there's no geese down here to bully.
They're probably going to think this is all just in character.
But yeah, so John and Mike, to go back chronologically, talk about their origins before Cataclysm. So in 1997, they're both around 10 years old. John and Mike both lived in an orphanage on the island of Evan, which is an island further south in the West Sea from where Dustry City is. But they were both adopted from this orphanage by Captain Robert Onias to work as apprentices on board the Envious Dream. And that is when they got their start there. So as 10-year-olds, just like, hey, come be smugglers. You're orphans, whatever.
No one will suspect.
What else are orphans going to do?
Exactly. The next thing we get from John and Mike is in Cataclysm in 2016 now for both of them. And so I'll clarify who we're talking about in each of these arcs going forward. So for this is both of them in the Welcome to Dustry City arc. So John and Mike, they're doing their rounds on the top deck of the Dream when they hear a commotion happening from the cargo deck and they go to investigate. They see the party battling Courtspot Lambda and they decide to join the fight. And the two of them joining are what turns the tide of the fight and helps the party actually defeat Lambda as they use their teamwork to take it down at the legs.
We were getting just beat up. We were getting flattened.
D&D is like survival horror for the first like 3 levels.
Oh, yeah. And for reference, this was a party of 3, which included a ranger, a cleric, and a barbarian fighting a homebrew monster from a first-time GM. So you can guess how well that was going.
Yeah. I mean, all things considered, the party composition in terms of like class spread was pretty good. Problem is, level 1.
Yeah. And so after that, the Envious Dream makes landfall at Dock 17 and the party is unloading. And Karen Forrester, the second in command of the Envious Dream, was going to be escorting the party to a smuggler's safe house alongside Mike and John. And then an explosion happens a few docks down. And so Mike and Karen go to investigate the explosion. And Mike is arrested by the DCPD during this because he is mistaken as a member of the Blood Oath Militia. Meanwhile, with John, John stays back with the party. As they are there, John and the party are ambushed by Andrew Blood and the Blood Oath Militia. At which point, it looks like they're finally going to either start a new fight with Andrew Blood when, whoop, whoop, it's the sound of the police. Here comes the DCPD. And at that point, Andrew Blood and the Blood Militia go off to fight them. John tries to convince the party to get out of there, but Severica insists on going to fight Andrew. And so later on in the fight, John comes back to help out Severica and Navita and brings Reaper with him. And so during the fight, Andrew Blood tries to scurry away into a little warehouse so that he can make his escape. Severica chases him down.
Yep, Severica does what becomes a reoccurring thing for her, but we'll get to that at a later point.
Yeah, yeah. Severica goes to chase him down because she's like, hey, you're not going anywhere. I will 1v1 you. And John says, no, you won't. And John follows Severica into the warehouse. They get into the warehouse. Andrew Blood traps them in. And through a series of events of trying to fight, Andrew Blood does end up killing John Winslow there in the warehouse and uses that as a distraction to escape from Severica. I think technically this was session 2. Mike is arrested and John is dead. So great start to the campaign for those two. So Mike later on that night reunites with the party at the 17th Precinct and joins them to investigate the break-in at the Dustry City Central Museum. Mike is paired off with Severica, and the both of them are knocked out by Screech after an ambush from the bandits in this museum. Severica is taken by Andrew Blood to Gemstone Industries, and Mike is picked up by Owen Cambio to be brought back to the Bandits Trade Union in order to avoid being arrested by the DCPD again. He already learned earlier in the night from Reaper that John died, but it is at this point that he learns that John died because of Severica's pursuit of Andrew Blood. And at this point, Mike makes a personal vendetta and swears to get revenge on Severica. And that is the end of their stuff in the Welcome to Dustria City arc. Now, you might think that because John died, that is the end of his story. And to that I say, no, if only.
Don't you know this whole campaign was inspired by superheroes?
Yeah.
Nobody dies in superhero movies.
I talk all the time about Dustria City and how there is this sort of unspoken curse that happens to characters involved with Dustria City, and specifically while they're in Dustria City. John's curse is that he's not allowed to stay dead. So what happens here first is with the Hans the Necromancer story, which is the necromancer that Wendy has come to hunt down and get her revenge on as a revenant. And so John is raised from the dead as a wraith in order to defend Hans and become his personal bodyguard. And so when Wendy confronts Hans alongside Severica, Navita, and Saoirse, and Neil was there too.
Neil.
John, John ends up attacking Severica in this sort of as a wraith, and he has that little hinge of memory there, but is twisted by this dark energy. And so Severica, feeling too guilty to like fully fight back and actually to kill him again, Severica's sister Saoirse is actually the one to deal the final killing blow for the second time here. And so scratch it up 1 year in, and John has died twice.
Surely that's the last time he'll die.
Surely.
But wait, there's more.
For Mike, his next thing is with getting the Garnet Power Ring. This is still in 2016 is where we're at. But Mike and Reaper, in their sort of like orientation to join the bandits, are sent to confront a local crime group alongside Kyle Wilson and Walter Sang. And they are able to, through this confrontation, secure the Garnet Power Ring in the process. And when they bring it back to the boss, Timothy Ulyshina, he decides to assign this power ring to Mike. Because he says, you've got a massive chip on your shoulder and you did really good out in the field. Here's your reward. Mostly because he looks at Reaper and says, you don't need any extra help. You're a monster and a murderer. Mike needs a little extra oomph still. He's still used to this whole new to this whole vengeance thing.
He's new to the vengeance, crazy.
Yeah. But the next story thing is for Mike now in the Council of Three arc later in 2016. So in this arc, Gemstone Industries and the Bandits Trade Union sort of do an uncanny collaboration here. By that point, I mean that they agree that what they're going to do is Gemstone is going to assassinate 2 out of 3 members of the Council of Three, and the Bandits will, with the help of some bounty hunters, kidnap the third one. Because the Gemstone has arranged this meeting with the DCPD to sort of convince them to use court spots to supplement the police force. DCPD doesn't want to do that. Gemstone does. The Council of Three is going to mediate that discussion. And so during this, the assassination happens. And so Mike's participation here is that he leads one of the squads sent out by the bandits to kidnap Roy Smith after the assassination of the rest of the council. And so Mike is out here, his identity concealed, and he is now given the new field codename of Backlash. So Mike is sent out here along with some other mysterious individuals, particularly a succubus and an incubus, are the two bounty hunters he is sent with. But he confronts the party along with Andrew Blood, Screech, and Thomas Jones. And he almost kills Severka in this fight, but is forced to retreat when one of his partners successfully captures Roy Smith. And so they dip out of there. Mike rendezvous back with the Bandits trade union, and the Bandits are then attacked by bounty hunters and court spots that are sent by Gemstone Industries. And so the Bandits are able to escape this attack, but their HQ is destroyed in the process. And so after that, Mike and the Bandits then relocate to Pirates Bay afterwards because they're sort of like fugitives in the city from both Gemstone Industries and the DCPD, and so they really can't stay there anymore, and they've sort of lost their control over the criminal underworld at that point. So they relocate over to Pirates Bay for a new location and a fresh start of sorts. Now that fresh start for Mike starts with the death of another friend. So we're in early 2017 now, and Mike, he's been paired off with Reaper a lot during these early days of the Bandits, follows Reaper on a job that Reaper took against Timothy's orders. They were given a job, say, hey, you guys want to kill Captain Pestilence? And Captain Pestilence, we've referenced him a few times before in the podcast. There's this group of pirate captains in the world that are the four horsemen of the apocalypse themed, and so they each have a boat that is very like dangerous to attack. And so they were offered the job to kill Captain Pestilence because he was nearby. Reaper said, sure, yeah, there's plenty of souls for me to give back to my patron. And Mike says that's dumb. And so Mike, Brasha, and Arim go and follow Reaper. And while they're here in trying to save Reaper from this very foolhardy fate, Reaper is killed by Captain Pestilence in this fight, and then Captain Pestilence then sends Mike and the others with Reaper's body back to the Bandits as a warning, saying, hey, don't come after me ever again. You're way out of your depth. Great stuff for Mike going on here. And so the next one is a bit of an arc for both of them.
Both of them? I thought you said John was dead.
Yes, but there's an important thing that happens to John in this arc. So we're in the Order of the Unbound arc now, still early 2017. Mike returns to Dustria City and shows up at the 17th Precinct. And as he shows up here, he says, hey, I would like to turn myself in because I was part of the group that kidnapped Roy Smith. And also, Reaper at one point had gained the Peridot powering, and Mike is like, also, you might want this, and offers that powering back to the DCPD. And so they take him in, and in quite an uncharacteristic move, they say, okay, we should really like research this claim, because why would he turn himself in, A, and then B, like, is he actually telling the truth here? And so while he is in custody, Mike asks a simple request, which is if he is allowed to see John's grave, because they had decided to put John's grave out front in the garden park next to the 17th Precinct. And so Severka and Neil bring him to the grave as Mike hears the story of his death from Severka herself and gets her account of it finally. Half a year later, his powering awakens. Just overcome, and this is one that's like he is overcome by emotion, but it's not showing. It's just one of those that like they see the flash of light coming off of it, but he looks completely like he has shut himself off from expressing that emotion in this moment. And so as part of this, the power that Mike gains from this awakening is that he gains the ability to swap the physical properties of two objects that he's in contact with. So if he was touching a metal bar, and then also touching in his other hand, like just a shirt, could swap it. So the shirt would be made of metal and the bar would be made of cloth all of a sudden.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some also very sinister connotations of the use of that power.
Absolutely. He doesn't use it often. After hearing the story in this event, Mike asks that John be given a proper smuggler's burial, which is a burial at sea, before Mike is put into the Dustria City prison. And so Chief Briggs does grant him this request. The party goes with Mike to lay John to rest out in the West Sea, and they sort of just drop him there in the ocean, all wrapped up and everything. And so afterwards, Mike is placed into the Dustria City prison in the superpowered unit under the watch of Warden Brashfeld. And so from there, we get an event specifically for John, which is sort of a new life is what we've dubbed this one, because as here John's body drifts to the ocean floor, he is found by a strange, mysterious individual known as Roger IV and is brought back to Sartopolis, which is an underwater country just right next to Dustria City.
I like how his name is spelled.
Yes.
It's spelled Rawjer.
Yes.
Roger.
And if you think the fourth is spelled correctly, you would also be incorrect, because it is Roger the Fourth, Forth, as in to bring forth, not the number fourth.
Oh, so there's no third.
No,
There
there's
could
no
be a third.
But Roger sort of recovers John's body, which had been, some sea life had been munching on it a little bit as it had been drifting around.
Ew!
Yeah. Hey, sea urchins got to eat too.
Icky!
So Roger brings John's body back to his lab in the Sartopolis and decides to augment John with some cybernetic and spare parts that have been cybernetics. Yeah, that's underwater cybernetics. Hang on, I gotta write that down.
John, every now and then you have smart thoughts. I'm sorry, that was so mean.
That's
I haven't gotten
crazy.
to talk to you in a long time.
Haven't talked to me in forever and already throwing shade.
And here's the thing about these spare parts and these cybernetics: they were donated to the Sartopolis by Gemstone Industries.
Oh, no!
And so through his mad science, Roger was able to bring John back to life, albeit without a free will.
Oh, buddy.
And so the thing is that John works for King Saphir of Sartopolis and is one of the royal guard. And so John here is given a new name of Cord and given the model number of J01-1N, which if you squint your eyes and look at it real closely,
That spells John.
It does?
I remember telling the party that the first time they encountered Cord, and someone was like, "Yeah, his model number is this." And I think only John was the only one at the table who caught on to what was going on there.
Yeah, I was the only one, and I'm like, you son, you son,
Of
you
a goose.
son of
Son of a goose.
So, John is given the new name of Cord and works with the Royal Guard of Sartopolis now. So, flashing back over to Mike now, it is time for the Dustria City prison break. And so Mike is broken out of the Dustria City prison by Braja Roughscale with the help of Henry Lucas, Marcus Forsyth, and Luther Python. And so other people who were rescued as part of this prison break were Timothy Ilyushina, Owen Cambio, Arim, and Captain Amazing, who later goes on to be quite a well-known superhero, which there was honestly a really funny backstory to the one-shot session that this happened with. Because like we said earlier, Braja was one of John's player characters. But this is a really funny, the summer between freshman and sophomore year for us was I was visiting one of my high school buddies who lived outside Fort Leonard Wood. And that is also where John lived at the time.
Oh, is this when you guys took the train?
Yep. Yeah, I was just out there and I was like, "Hey, John, you live out here too, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You want to come do a one-shot with my high school friends?" And so that was the weirdest mental crossover and the only time that has ever happened for me.
That was a really fun time.
It was crazy and chaotic, and it was great.
Yeah, when you go to high school in Germany, the fact that they ended up in the same spot is crazy.
But yeah, so Mike ends up being broken out of the Dustria City prison. The thing is, his cell was right next to Captain Amazing's too, so they had at least a little bit of time to converse.
What do you think Mike and Carl talked about? Is Mike a wrestling fan?
I don't think so. I don't think they had cable on the NB stream.
Ah, man.
Weirdly enough, even though his code name was Backlash, he's not the biggest fan of that pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, he's honestly his least favorite. It's very derivative of just relies on WrestleMania being good.
If anybody's favorite pay-per-view is Backlash, there's something wrong with you.
Whenever AEW came out, Mike wanted to give it a try, just to see how wrestling is, and was severely disappointed and said never again.
Crazy.
But maybe he is looking at Carl and he squints a little bit. He's like, "I've seen you."
I swear you look familiar.
Carl's like, "Oh,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about."
The next thing and this is for both Mike and John now, the next thing for them is the Tournament of Champions arc later on in 2017. And so I actually had this one incorrect, but Mike competes in the Tournament of Champions as a representative of Caius, the Thunderforged Monarch of Knowledge, and Cord competes in the Tournament of Champions as a representative of Kuraz, which is a Thunderforged Monarch of, I do believe it is Life. I wrote it down wrong in the notes. And so with that, leading up to the Tournament of Champions, Caius held a training session for his champions specifically, and Mike was one of the final 10 out of their 40 competitors. As we get to the tournament itself, the tournament is split into 3 different sub-tournaments, the tournaments of Art, Intelligence, and Combat. Both Mike and Cord compete in the Tournament of Combat, and Mike is actually defeated in the 4th round by Cord, the two of them have a fight here at this point.
Do they recognize each other?
So here's the thing: in the moment, they don't recognize each other because Cord doesn't really have free will or access to his memory banks, and Mike sees this like weird, like mangled cyborg of a person. The thing is that after the fight, Mike does approach Severica and the party and says, "Hey, that guy fights exactly like John did." And he's like, "I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to be looking into this." And so the thing is, Cord gets to go on for one more round, at which point he is defeated by Richard Briggs.
As one does.
Yep. That is their participation for both of them in the Tournament of Champions. A very like unsettling kind of reunion there, right? But the next thing we get for both of them is in the Emerald Conspiracy arc. We're in 2018 now. So as I said, after the Tournament of Champions, Mike decides to look into Cord and do some investigating. And he does discover that Cord used to be John, who has now been brought back to life as a weird cyborg of some kind. And then after the Tournament of Champions on Cord's end, he ends up getting these like flashes of some old memories returning to him and being very, and so he goes to Roger to be like, "Hey, I think I'm having some sort of malfunction. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting these weird memory flashback things." Roger doesn't quite know what's going on here. And so this sort of like perceived malfunction that's going on. So Roger saying, well, Gemstone Industries sent me this technology. Maybe they'll know how to fix it.
Oh,
so
no.
Roger sends Cord to Gemstone Industries to be repaired by them. And so wouldn't you know, who gets to take a look at him, not first, but in the first group of people who looks at him is Andrew Blood.
No.
And Andrew realizes, wait a minute. This guy, because they do a DNA test, they're like, he's part human. Who was he?
I killed this guy.
Andrew's like, yeah, I killed this guy before. And also, for reference, Cord also defeated Andrew in the Tournament of Combat.
Oh no, so he's butthurt about it.
Yes, so Andrew's also
Salty.
got an extra little bone to pick here.
He's as salty as the water Cord came out of.
That's wild. So Andrew decides, ooh, this is a really great chance to mess with Severica and her friends. And so ends up sending Cord directly to the 17th Precinct as a distraction for the party leading up to his big planned confrontation that he has with them. And so Cord is discovered there at the 17th Precinct. The party is trying to figure out what's going on with him, and they're right on the verge of discovering that he is in fact John, when, wouldn't you know, who busts down the door? It's Mike. Mike has tracked Cord down to the 17th Precinct, and he has, hey, hand him over, I'm gonna kill him. Because that used to be my best friend, and it is unfair that he has been brought back to life once again. He needs to, like, be allowed to rest.
Let me put him down, please.
Yeah.
No, Dad, it's my dog. I'll do it.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
And so again, this is the big like finale of Cataclysm stuff. Andrew Blood then initiates his attack on the 17th Precinct with all of his ring bearer buddies from Gemstone. And so this absolute chaos breaks out, and he uses in this moment, he has a nice little secret switch that they installed before sending Cord over here as an override switch. So that Cord had a little like glimmer of free will that was given back to him, and now after the switch is activated, Cord is entirely under Gemstone control. And Cord fights against Mike in this battle and escapes with the rest of the crew from Gemstone after the fight once the Emerald Ring is activated here. But yeah, and that is the end of Mike and John's stuff here in the Cataclysm campaign.
You mean to tell me that Cataclysm isn't a happy story?
Sure don't have a happy ending, that's for sure.
Nope.
Man. John, as a player, how did you feel at the end of Cataclysm?
I felt like I felt something.
Mm-hmm.
I felt things.
It was rough.
It was a loss. It was a massive
here's
loss.
Here's the bigger question. Why did you keep playing D&D with Ben afterwards?
Because the pain felt so bad in such an amazing way. That is
That's crazy.
That is the only way I could describe it.
I love that.
I'm blanking on the movie name. It was my Infinity War before Infinity War.
Oh, heck yeah. I love
Oh, that's
to hear
crazy. Which we watched together.
We did. Me and John watched Infinity War together.
We watched
Endgame.
Endgame together.
Yeah.
And we
yeah.
all
Yeah.
left the
John
theater
got
very
to
upset.
witness my existential crisis when Spider-Man got snapped.
Just Ben's whole reaction after that movie was like both of our reactions after that movie was some Yeah, it was something.
Mm-hmm. So to get back on their story stuff, John and Mike's quick things after Cataclysm. For Mike, he ends up and he goes and joins the Stand immediately afterwards. Mike evacuates from the city with the rest of the party and joins the Stand on the condition that he is going to leave once they're able to find and kill Cord. He's like, that's the only reason I'm sticking around with you guys. I don't really like any of you.
Understandable.
I need to kill my best friend so I can move on with my life and so he can not move on with his.
Yeah. And for John, he then becomes a pawn of Gemstone Industries. Cord is used as a prototype of one of the Quartzbot cyborgs and is sent on covert missions around the world on behalf of Gemstone Industries. And one of those missions is being sent to Rondor as a representative of Gemstone Industries to make sure that the Quartzbot Rondor units are fully functional. The next thing we get with the two of them is in the Dynamite campaign. And the first thing is with Mike when the Earth Defense Legion is formed in 2026. So this is the big like coalition of all the heroic groups across Earth. And Mike joins the Earth Defense Legion with the rest of the Stand and provides a lot of battlefield support and tactical leadership in confrontations against the forces of Dravik. And to his credit, like for as hesitant and grumpy as he was at the start of this stuff, Mike has become like one of the leaders of the Stand at this point. Like it's like Briggs and Porter and the rest of them, and Mike is in like the second ring of leadership. He's right up there with like Severica, Maurice, and Elizabeth in terms of like structure there. So that is happening, and then next we get in the Lady Legacy arc, Cord comes back because Cord has been assigned to a squad led by Sir Malcolm Duncan of Rondor that has been specially formed in order to counter the party.
No!
Because they say, hey. Someone was like, hey, Severica's part of that party that's giving you guys a lot of trouble. You know who's really, really going to throw Severica off? If you throw Cord in there.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's there. He shows up with them when Malcolm and the others ambush the Lady Legacy at sea, but he doesn't actually participate in the fight there yet. He does fight later on in the Liberation of Rondor arc, which is when he shows up again. Cord fights alongside the Quartzbots in Castletown, but as he is there fighting against Severica and the rest of the party, Cord ends up retreating when part of his hardware is damaged thanks to a very lucky shot by Iron Sights. This lucky shot essentially like overrides the override chip, so it sort of deactivates that thing. And John pretty much entirely gets his like free will back again for the first time in, let's check, 9 years.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
And so after just being this sort of like husk, and he is now just, to his credit, he's alive. Kind of, again.
He's got all the benefits of being a cyborg without the leash.
Yeah, and so, yeah, in that moment, he decides, being overwhelmed by this return of free will, to run away.
Reasonable decision.
That is the end of John's participation in the Dynamite campaign, but we got one more thing from Mike in the 8 Days War arc as he's there, and Mike actually joins forces with Severica to fight in the 8 Days War.
Which wasn't awkward at all.
Nope.
Nah.
Not at all. You'd think that after working together in the Stand, they would have reconciled their differences.
Right.
He's still a little salty.
Yeah, Mike is like, I'm still...
I still, like, if I could kill you, I would.
I don't wanna, but...
I don't want to, but I mean, if the opportunity
if I had to
presents
choose between you and someone else.
I'm not going to like go out of my way to save your life, but I'm probably not going to kill you.
Yeah, that too. And so that is the end of both of their participation in the main universe stuff in Universe 17, but we have to jump over to Universe 16 real quick to talk about what happens with them in the Dark Future timeline. So we have to go back and talk about the Schism points, which is in 2026. So this is the point where Universe 16 starts diverging from Universe 17. So when the Envious Dream here, not the Envious Dream, what am I talking about? The Zephyrus Justice attacks the Lady Legacy on their way to Pirates Bay. Overkill is killed in the fight in this universe, and the demon Andromalik emerges from his body.
Oh.
And so Andromalik has a rampage, killing the majority of both crews until Jacob Crystal binds Andromalik to himself. So the only survivors of this are Kana Vandal, Sariel Sitwellin, Jacob Crystal, Richard, Caesar Remington, and Super Commando.
Severica died.
The thing is, like we said, Cord was there during this fight. He wasn't participating, but in this universe, Andromalik was able to take down the Zephyrus Justice, which led to John dying for the third time in this universe.
Yay.
Now, the thing is, that afterwards, Kana and the rest of the survivors make their way back to the stand. And so when they're back here at Mike's request in this universe, Kana builds a new body for John using Dravik's technology. Because for Mike, he has now had like a lot of friends have died at this point in this war, in this universe. And so he's like, God, I don't want to bring my friend back to life, but we need the firepower for this. Like we are low on people. And so shortly after John is sort of rebuilt and has his like free will here, Dravik's forces find the workshop and attack. In this attack, Mike ends up holding off the forces of Dravik for the remainder of Stand to retreat. And in this sort of heroic final stand a la Halo Reach, dies in the process.
Not Halo
Dang.
Reach, that's crazy.
Dang.
And so at this point, Mike and John basically tag out, says, you live, I'll die, buddy. And so after that, in 2030, a bunch of the survivors and heroes band together, and they have been staying in hiding with the Bandits trade union throughout the rest of the Dravik invasion. And after finding a few more survivors from other groups around the world, they form a new team of heroes. These are the last heroes on Earth in this universe, and name themselves the Masquerade. And so here, John picks up the new alias of Incinerator, because the new technology gives him a lot of like actual fire capabilities that he's able to manipulate. Later on in 2046, when the Masquerade think that they have discovered a way to travel to the past, Kana and the rest of her crew go back to the past, but Incinerator actually chooses to stay behind with Sariel and a handful of other members of the Masquerade to defend the portal from Dravik. And so there's a moment there at the end of Dynamite where the rest of the Masquerade gets to make their triumphant like arrival and help defeat one of the big enemies there at the end. And that is some new stuff that I've added into John and Mike's lore very recently. But yeah, that is all that we've got for John Winslow and Mike Walsh.
Woo! Fantastic characters that died, at least in some point in their story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've always liked how you've described John as someone who is cursed with life.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a interesting way to like describe a character.
Because as well, for John, I imagine too, because we've explored this at the table in Cataclysm of like what the afterlife looks like in Reinvent, which is this whole like comic books do this as well of like you go to whatever version of the afterlife you believed in. And so we call them the After Realms. And so each of the Thunderforge has their own After Realm. So Navita gets to see what Rises looks like because of an accident with some of her magic, right? But the thing is that for the smugglers, their sort of like patron is Granmarg, the Thunderforge deity of loyalty. And so for that like brief bit of time, John gets to experience that afterlife of being with other smugglers too, and just sort of like being at rest. And then he is sort of wrenched away from that against his will by this mad scientist, and then continues to basically like again doesn't have free will. So it's like, if unfortunately, and this is really dark, but like if John was given the chance, like he would love to die and stay dead, but he's being juggled around by Sartopolis and Gemstone Industries for a decade after that. Yeah. And I think as well, part of it is when in Dynamite, when John gets his like memories and free will back finally, there's part of that why he doesn't choose to just like go find a way to die is like, oh, I have to help my friend now, because he has the realization of like, oh, Mike has like irreparably changed because of the way that he is trying to help me. And so I need to now help my friend in turn.
John, at one point, you got an animal companion
Oh.
that you named after John.
Oh.
Was it worse for you?
Got Severica. So to give some context, Severica became a Beastmaster Ranger and got an owl companion, and in honor of John died in front of her by the hands of Andrew Blood, she named this owl after John. And that owl got 2 confirmed kills, evolved into an owl bear thanks to divine intervention after the Tournament of Champions, went back to being an owl, and then, funnily enough, had its neck snapped.
Yep.
And that was not a good time for Severica.
Yeah,
and she, whenever it happened, she ran into the woods and possessed a tree.
Oh.
And then found out that she could possess things.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to tell John how that owl died?
Nope.
Oh, okay,
Well,
okay. Whenever you do the Severca, whenever
it's been years.
You'll find out when we get there in the Cataclysm audio drama.
I was gonna say you better tell me after the Severca video.
Oh yeah. There's a different character whose episode is coming up that secret will be revealed in.
You got to listen to the pod, John.
Can you at least tell me what character? Or would that be spoilers?
I'll tell you, they're pretty prevalent throughout the Dustry City stuff. That is what I'll give you.
It was Andrew Blood, wasn't it?
Who's to say?
Used to say.
you are the one to say.
And that's why that joke is so funny. The amount of times I would say that to my students just to get like the skeptical, genuine like head tilt from there. They're like, wait, isn't it? It's like, yes, it is me.
But yeah, so by count across all of the universes, the amount of times that John has died is what, 3 or 4 times? If we count the owl.
Okay, so John the human dies twice in Universe 17, John the owl once. So that's 3. In Universe 16, John the human dies 3 times, John the owl dies once. And so that's 7 combined across both of those universes.
Guy cannot catch a break.
Yeah.
Nor can the symbolic owl.
And you know what? This is not the only John who meets an unfortunate end in Reinvent. There's also John Brown, Mr. Fahrenheit.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, this is a bad universe to be named John in.
Anything named John in the Reinvent universes, it's basically like being a red shirt in Star Trek. You know they're going to die at some point.
The thing is like that's the different thing is that it's going to be an emotionally impactful death.
Basically. Correction.
Gotta make you love him first.
It's like if you're named John in the Reinvent universe, it's going to be a whole Leomon situation. For those who know, you know.
Leomon. Oh, man.
Wow. Again, what a pull. This has been a great episode for pulls.
Yeah. Or it's like being a clone that gets a whole episode dedicated to them in the Clone Wars.
No, they're going to be dead by the end of this arc.
Yep.
Just don't get a name.
Rest in peace, Domino Squad.
Just don't get a name. Whatever you do, don't be named John.
Well, John, I got a question for you that doesn't necessarily have to do with John and Mike, but just for Cataclysm as a whole, because you are the only person that has played in both campaigns. So you've had the most tabletop time with Reinvent. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about Cataclysm getting adapted to an audio drama format with like people that we don't know?
I absolutely love it. Just listening to the first episode, like the pilot episode, was so like I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And getting to hear all the characters voiced out and all of the silly things that happened in session 1 played out in an audio drama is just it was special to me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much. The voice actors did an amazing job.
Oh man, yeah, we have an incredible cast.
I cannot wait to listen to more and have my wonderful wife listen to the stupid things that happen.
Well, John, did you know that the voice actress for Severca is the Dutch voice of Darwin in Amazing World of Gumball?
I did not know that. I actually love that. That is a lovely fact.
That happened between recording the pilot and recording the rest of season 1. She got that gig, and we're like, "Oh, so you need a pay raise?"
Well, I was like looking on her Instagram, and I was like, "Wait, Ben, this is this is crazy."
Yeah.
And she's like 19, I think.
Mm-hmm.
She
and an absolute pro. Robin is great.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was listening to some of her demo reels and I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think it was really impressive because Severca has the most lines in season 1. And I think we got all of her lines recorded in like an hour and a half, 2 hours max.
Nice. That is awesome.
Yeah.
All of the performances that have been given for this audio drama have been great. Because it's just really cool to me that this is an international cast. Like we have people in Europe, we have an Australian that's living in Japan.
Yeah.
We have people from across the US, and then we have some of our local voices as well. Like Maurice is being played by one of our really good buddies, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Matt is currently writing a script about Circuit because he played Circuit in Ordinary Heroes for the real life stuff and got hyper fixated on the character. So he's
as one does
kind of run with his lore, which is I mean it's been great. And I just think I don't know, John. Did you think 10 years ago
coming up on it
well not we I was not even a thought yet. I wasn't even there. I didn't exist yet.
Yeah. Abby had not spawned in.
Yeah, no, I hadn't spawned into Missouri Western yet. But I mean, 10 years ago, like y'all playing D&D with the long-haired Ben, and now there's a production company that's adapting.
I love it. I don't think I ever would have expected it to have grown like that, but thinking back, just the fact that a majority of the party was theater and cinema kids, I probably should have expected it.
Well, and it's crazy, John, there's a girl in our community who loves Andrew Blood.
It's her favorite
reinvent character because she met Andrew Blood through What If whenever he was starting to have his anti-hero turn and didn't know all the atrocities about him yet.
I was about to say, like, no offense to her, but is she okay mentally?
She's great mentally.
No, she's super smart mentally. And the thing, he's got his hero arc. Like, listen, he gets a redemption arc.
Yeah, in what universe?
In universe 17.
Yeah. You
played the ending. You know how it goes.
I would say that he did get at least a bit of a redemption, but he didn't get to see it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
His goal was achieved, but he didn't get to reap the fruits of that labor.
I would love to have John sit through a production of What If and see how he...
Oh, yeah.
John, we need to catch you up on stuff that's been happening.
Oh, boy. Give me that juicy lore.
Well, there's a podcast, and this is episode 50, so...
You know what? Fair point.
Catch up.
Oh, man. I've got a lot of things I need to catch up on.
Before we wrap up today's episode, John, do you have anyone or anything you want to give a shout out to?
I would like to give a shout out to the cast and production team of Cataclysm. Yay, self-promotions. And I would also like to give a shout out to my lovely and amazing wife, who is not a part of anything. Just wanted to shout her out because I love her.
Heck yeah.
Aww.
Love it.
Crazy. John has a wife. Who would have thought? There's the second stray for you, John.
That's
anyway.
It's not a stray when he's right here.
Yeah, no, like that.
John, turn away so it can be a stray. No, it's a stray because he's across the country, so it works. Idaho's not real. That's a made-up state.
No, that's Montana.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, nobody lives in Montana.
If Idaho wasn't real, where'd you get the potatoes?
That is true. If you live in Montana and you're listening to this episode, tell me that you're real, because I won't believe you. But comment on it so there's engagement. Our next episode of Lore Drop will actually be coming out after episode 2 of Cataclysm, which comes out on July 1st. But the next Lore Drop will be with Elizabeth Walters, and Monica is our co-host for that character, which will be a good time. It's pre-Elliot Monica, before Elliot was born, because we did a big old batch recording before she went on maternity leave for like 2 seconds. So be on the lookout for those 2 episodes. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Lore Drop.
And remember,
being fantastic starts with being a fan. It's so hard to do this remotely.
It's even better when we mess up because it's started. Reinvent Productions is proudly sponsored by 5 Points Corporation Lubbock and Savannah Rashida Photography, as well as our other wonderful community patrons. Our home base in Lubbock is Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center at 4228 Boston Avenue. For more information on how to support our 501c3 organization, you can check out our website at www.reinvent-productions.com. To directly support our upcoming audio drama, you can become a Lore Drop sponsor. For just $10, you can sponsor an episode of this podcast. All donations will go towards support for our upcoming production of Children of Destiny Cataclysm Season 1, which will begin releasing episodes June 22nd, 2026. Funds will go towards paying our wonderful voice actors and creative staff for their fantastic talent and time. We have over 30 artists globally working on this production, and we can't wait for you to hear it this summer. You can donate at givebutter.com/LoreDropSponsor. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at reinvent.productions, as well as on Facebook and Twitch, where we stream gaming and a look behind the scenes on how we create our new works. Be sure to follow us to stay in the loop about upcoming productions, auditions, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lore Drop.